There's a phrase that floats around this space like glitter in the air. You are the niche. You've heard it before, you've probably even reposted it once or twice. And listen, I get it. There's truth there. There's beauty in that. And if you're an artist, if your brand is your lifestyle, your essence, your curated chaos, then yes, your vibe might be enough to carry the whole damn brand. But if you're a spiritual entrepreneur, if you're here to serve, to coach, to lead women through an actual transformation, if your brand isn't just about you, but about the sacred service you provide, then you are not enough. And let me say that again with love. You are not the niche. You are the vessel, the voice, the visible proof of what's possible. But your niche is a promise. It's a path, a portal, a very specific invitation to a very specific someone at a very specific point in their journey. And that's where most women get stuck. They confuse identity with utility. They think showing up as themselves is enough. And don't get me wrong, your voice is brilliant, it matters. But visibility without clarity is noise, it's clutter, it's another voice in the scroll. There are 4 specific transformations that every person seeks out: health, wealth, relationships, and impact. And if you're a really good marketer, you go 3 layers deep within each one to pierce through the noise. I love binging my favorite content creators for entertainment. I find myself going to them for a laugh, or to be inspired, or to learn something new. But I don't see myself ever paying them because they aren't clear on a very particular service that they provide. And that's a really important point. You can have 500,000 followers online and be making no money because you're just having fun on the internet influencing. Whereas someone else can have 1,000 true fans, but have their messaging dialed the fuck in, their target client clear as fuck, and the transformation undeniable. You already know these people are racking in the cash. Being clear on who you serve doesn't make you less magnetic. It makes you the only option. Because here's the thing. Vagueness is a trauma response, and it's also a hiding mechanism. It's what we do when we don't want to risk repelling anyone. But do you want to know what actually repels more? Confusion, uncertainty, a message that doesn't feel like it's for anyone, but feels like it's for everyone. Someone out there is literally waiting for your offer, and they're skipping past your post because you're still trying to be everything. So no, queen, you are not the niche. You are the messenger of a powerful, precise transformation. And if you want to be paid, seen, and trusted, you better know what the hell that transformation is and who it's meant for. It is so beautiful to reflect on all of the women who have been massive parts of my spiritual upgrades when I have needed them the most on my journey. One mentor in particular pried me up out of depression, addiction, self-loathing, simply because she offered a self-concept transformation, and her promise was, I'm going to heal your emotional state by fixing how you think and how you speak to yourself. And she delivered immaculately. When I finally got out of that hell state of being, another brilliantly placed mentor appeared, as if the universe was serving me exactly who I needed at a specific point in time. Enter my wealth expander mentor. This woman was making $5 million a year as an online course creator who loves content creation. She's a mom. She embraces the soft life. This woman literally showed me the path I wanted to walk. She showed me I could have the life of my dreams, not only because she was a living example of what she preaches, but because her ideal client was people who wanted to create online courses and get rich as fuck online. So that mentor showed me what was possible for myself. I don't yet make $5 million a year, but the universe placed her on my journey at that moment so that I could keep elevating, keep believing in what is possible for myself. And then the next mentor was a business mentor who got deep into the strategy of creating an online brand. She taught me how to create content that actually converts, how to build a community that moves when you sell your offers, that cares about your messaging. Beyond simply liking a post and scrolling past it or commenting cool stuff, basically she's a community alchemist and she knows how to move people. So she was the first mentor I actually felt confident being seen by. So I went into one of her programs and everything was finally activated for me. I finally realized I wanted to be a fame astrologer, and her programs taught me how to be clear with my branding online. All of these women picked a specific target client at one point in their journeys who were seeking one specific transformation, and I fell into each of these categories. They saw me, and for that I will never forget the service that these women provided my soul when I needed it the most. So this is the real reason you're not standing out. Most people in this space, they're not failing because they lack talent or energy or beauty or branding. They're fading into the feed because they're saying too much to too many people, and none of it is landing. Sometimes I'll watch a piece of content and I'm like, wow, who is this for? I can see that you're enjoying expressing yourself, which is amazing. Do that. And that's enough if you want to just have fun on the internet. But if you want to make money, you need to know who's receiving your message on the other end of the screen. It's like people are playing the algorithm like it's a slot machine, hoping that something hits. Posting daily, showing up in the trends, talking about mindset and healing and energy and empowerment. But the message, it's air. It's mist. It's uncatchable. Because when you try to speak to everyone, you're not amplifying your brand. You're actually diluting your power. Magnetic visibility, it's not about being liked. It's about being felt by the right person at the right time with the right message. And you don't get there by accident or by adding more to your content calendar. You get there by carving deeper into your clarity. You need to know what keeps your people up at night. What are they secretly wishing someone would just say out loud? What pain do they have that they don't even know how to name yet? And if they could wave a magic wand and fix their life, what would they ask for? And why is the transformation that they're currently seeking so urgent that they need to heal ASAP? Because that is how you stop the scroll. It's not by just giving random value dumps. It's not with aesthetic reels. It could be, but it's actually with emotional exactness. The kind that says, hey, you, I see you, and I built this specifically for you. And you can't do that until you stop trying to sound profound and you start getting specific. Because specificity is spiritual. It says, I trust that there's enough clients, enough demand, enough resonance, that I don't need to perform for the whole room. I just need to speak to the right one. And when you do that, you go from background noise to sacred signal. And if you want to know exactly what kind of visibility wounds are holding you back from fully expressing yourself, make sure to grab my free visibility codes PDF in the description below. So you want to target a timeline. We've been taught to build our brands around demographics, age, income, location, industry, but your client isn't a statistic. She's a soul on a timeline. And if you want to be the only one she sees, you don't just need to know who she is, you need to know where she is. Where is she in her evolution? Because not every woman is ready for your deepest codes. Not everyone can hold the potency that you've cultivated. And an esoteric truth, you're actually invisible the higher you vibrate. Like some people actually can't perceive you because of how high you're vibrating. So when you know your ideal client's exact moment, her before and her after, her secret fear, her unspoken desire, her breaking point, that's when your brand becomes surgical. Not in a cold way, in a soul-piercing way. Here's what I mean. I'm not just a visibility coach. I don't help everyone become famous. I help visionary women at the beginning of their rise. Women who've done the inner work but still don't know how to talk about what they do. Women who feel ready, but they're very unclear about what steps to take to move forward. So women who are meant to be seen but who are still speaking like they're hiding. Women who have so many brilliant ideas, but they need a mirror to reflect back to them their soul codes, which ideas to activate, which path to take, how to blow up their brand. That's who I serve. Not the celebrity, not the influencer. The woman seeing herself right now. The woman in the process of becoming. That clarity makes my content feel tailored because it is. And I'm sure as I evolve and as I grow my business, I still might be working with the same people, but I could also begin to work with someone more advanced on their path towards fame. Because our clients are often reflections of where we're at in our evolution. So ask yourself this, goddess. What version of your dream client do you want to meet? The one still awakening, the one already initiated, the one in crisis, or the one rebuilding? Maybe it's the one who has it all together and they're coming to you for the simple cherry on top. When you answer that, everything gets easier because your message sharpens, your offers sell, and your presence lands. Because it's not just about knowing your audience, it's about meeting them in their moment. Here's a fear that I hear all the time. But Aura, if I get too specific, won't I repel people? And my answer is yes, you will. You will repel the lurkers, the non-committals, the ones who don't know what they want and they wouldn't buy from you anyway. Magnets repel. So the right people, the ones who are ready, the ones who you were born to serve, they will find you faster because clarity is a lighthouse. And that DM at 2 a.m. that you wake up to the next morning that says, girl, I just binged all your content and I have been praying for you in the work that you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That comment is worth more than 1 million. Yes, queen, cool video, scroll past. And let me also speak to the multidimensional goddesses in the room. The ones who say, but Aura, I help with everything. My work supports love and health and wealth and impact. I'm too multidimensional to narrow down. I completely understand you because I offer the same thing in my spotlight sessions. The entire marketing for that program is come into my space and we will work on your visibility blogs so that you can post yourself online with confidence, grow your brand and your community, and get famous as fuck. But does that mean that when we hop on a call, we avoid certain topics? No. Sometimes women will come to me crying about their inner child wounds, or their relationship struggles, or their financial worries, or their health struggles. We can cover it all. But I got them in the space via selling the transformation of impact. So when I answer a Zoom call, I know almost immediately what my woman needs help with because my messaging is dialed the fuck in. You are vast, you are layered, you can hold all of it, but your client can't. Not all at once, especially not in the beginning. Not from a scroll on Instagram at 11:45 p.m. when she's 2 seconds away from deleting her business and applying to be a barista. When you lead with everything, you land as nothing. So that's not multidimensionality, that's confusion. And that's the ego or even the inner child grabbing onto complexity because it's afraid to be clear. Because clarity means commitment, and commitment feels like death when we haven't yet healed the fear of being misunderstood, or when we're afraid that people won't understand our evolution as we evolve in real time. But that's the whole point of being visible out loud. You're showing people it's okay to evolve. I was dancing 6 years ago on the internet. That was fully in integrity for me. I followed the beginning of that TikTok train and I was having a blast. Just because I'm not doing that anymore doesn't mean that this version of me is any less real or potent. And that's the amazing thing is a lot of my people, my soul tribe, are still following me from all those years back because we are growing together. And maybe in a year from now, I'll be dancing again. Who knows? But I know that choice and commitment will serve that level of my becoming. Being multidimensional doesn't mean that you lack focus. It means that you've got range, and range becomes power when you know which piece to lead with. Clarity isn't a cage, it's a choice. It's a choice to meet your people where they are and not overwhelm them with your entire galaxy. Let them enter through the portal. Once they're inside your world, they'll feel your depth. But if they can't even understand the front door, they'll never knock. When you try to keep your brand open and wide, it's not inclusive. It's unclear, and unclear content doesn't feel safe. It doesn't convert, it doesn't create trust. It creates scrolls, skips, and silence. It's a beautiful thing when a woman sees herself in your words, and she stops and she leans in and she listens. Because you didn't just describe her pain, you named her moment. You offered her a mirror and a map. That's precision, and that is leadership. Your niche is not supposed to be a prison. It's literally a spell. It's a frequency that calls in exactly who you're meant to serve. And that frequency can't be reached if you're trying to be profound to everyone. You want to be potent, be specific. Say the thing that only your dream client would understand. Name the ache only she feels at midnight. Write the post that feels like you reached into her gut and translated what she didn't know how to say. So that's the kind of content that creates clients. That's the kind of message that creates movements. You don't need to niche down to limit yourself. You need to niche down to rise higher, reach deeper, and become unforgettable to her. So again, most service-based brands fall into one of these 4 sacred realms: health, wealth, relationships, and impact. And that's a great starting point, but most people stop there. They say, I'm a health coach. I help with money mindset. I'm here for feminine empowerment. Goddess, that's not a niche, that's a category. That's the aisle in the bookstore. That's not the story that makes someone take your book to the counter. If you want to be seen, not scrolled past, you have to go 3 layers deeper. I teach a specific method for how to do this in my private sessions and inside my course that's coming out very soon. It's not for everyone because not everyone's ready for that level of refinement, but I'll give you the first glimpse of what I teach. So let's say that you choose relationships as the category. You might go a layer deeper. Marriages on the verge of divorce, then even deeper. Shadow work for women in emotionally unavailable marriages ready to break the ancestral pattern. That's a niche. That's a lighthouse. It's vivid, it's real, it's felt. But you don't need my method to start getting clarity. You just need to start asking better questions and start with this one. Why are you devoted to the work that you do? I started this visibility work for women who want to blow up their businesses online and create a powerful brand because for so long I've been hiding as an artist. I'm very gifted at singing and songwriting, and I've had such deep blocks within me regarding my craft that I built an entire business around working through these wounds while helping others do the same. That's true for me, and that's why people will follow along. So here's what I want you to journal on today or think about. Who exactly do I want to serve? Where are they at emotionally, spiritually, financially, or even professionally? What are they secretly ashamed of? What have they tried already that didn't work? What version of me are they calling forward? And what's the one transformation I know I can help them create because I've created it for myself? If I could only speak to one person for the rest of the year, who would she be and what would I help her change? What work do I want to commit myself to so that I become the best version of myself in the process? Those answers, that's your real niche. It's not about a title, but it's about the transformation, the moment, and the medicine. That's what positions you as the only one who can do what you do best. So here's what you really need to have a magnetic voice online. You don't need to go viral. You don't need 100K followers. You don't need a content strategy that burns you out and waters you down. You need alignment, intimacy, and clarity so potent it cuts through the noise and whispers directly to the women who are meant for you. Because somewhere out there, a woman is refreshing her feed, hoping for a sign. She's been burned by generic coaches. She's done the journaling, the masterclasses, the aesthetic Pinterest boards, and she's still waiting for someone to say, this was built for you. You could be that someone, but not if you're hiding behind generalities. Not if you're blending in with every other healer or mentor or guide. Not if your content is kind of good when it could be life-altering. This work is so much more than just building a brand. It's about becoming so precise, so intentional, and so resonant that your presence alone becomes a portal. And that's the true legacy. So if you're ready to build that kind of brand, the one that feels like prophecy to your people, then come deeper into my world. We get clear on your soul voice, your timeline-specific dream client, the transformation only you can deliver, messaging that pierces, moves, converts, because you're not here to be one in a million. You're here to be the only one who does it like you. So let's make you magnetic as fuck. Links in the show notes. Your next level client is already looking for you. Let's make sure that she can find you. I'll see you in the next episode.